FM Talk 1065, the Gulf Coast Weather Authority. The safety is off. There's a round in the chamber. This is Armed Alabama. Sponsored by McCoy Outdoor Company, Mobile's hometown full-line outdoor sporting products and gear store. An interactive talk show discussing self-defense, product reviews, shooting tips, safety, and more. Your calls, comments, and texts welcome at 343-0106. Now, here are your hosts, retired judge and certified NRA instructor Rusty Johnston and certified NRA law enforcement instructor Adam Strange.
They're gonna pry these guns right out of my hands when they come to take them away. I believe in the rights that my fathers gave me when he signed the Constitution that day. No misguided president or crooked politician with a greasy pocket be spared. When the hard-working man gets tired of your cry, it's gonna rain wrath, beware. Don't tread on me, I'm American free. You're not gonna take it away. I stand up to fight for my freedoms and rights. That's a price you'll have to pay. Don't tread on me, I'm American free. Red-blooded to the core. You ain't ever had a fight in your life like the fight that you're itching for.
All right, welcome to Armed Alabama. Glad you could join us tonight. We've got a good show here for you. Of course, as always, this is Armed Alabama, and we talk about your self-defense, firearm and ammo selection, concealed carry, home protection, training, proper range etiquette, and, of course, Alabama law. And, of course, we have so many people listening from Florida, which we thank you so much, and a lot of folks listening from Mississippi. We talk about Florida and Mississippi laws as well as federal laws. So thank you so much for listening. We're going to change our name from Armed Alabama to Armed America or something. I don't know. We have a lot of people listening, not only here in the South Alabama area, but of course Pensacola, Cantonment, West Florida area, in Mississippi, Lucedale, Pascagoula, Biloxi. So we're excited to have everybody listening in to us tonight. And of course,
and around the world on the internet.
Yes, of course, we are simulcasting on our Facebook page. We are simulcasting live on our Facebook page, and that's Armed Alabama Radio, FM Talk 1065. Please like, save, and follow while you're there. And, of course, on our Facebook page, we have a lot of people listening in from California, South Florida, Jacksonville. I see my buddy Frank is tuned in from Jacksonville. Hey, Frank, thank you for joining us on Facebook Live there. And Carla from Lucedale, just south of Lucedale, thank you for joining in to us tonight. We got a good show. Check us out on our Facebook page. You can become part of the conversation because we're always watching for text and Facebook messages where we answer your questions live. And if you want to call in to the studio, you can give us a call here at 251-343-0106. 251-343-0106. You can call or text to that same number. We'll be glad to answer any questions you may have, where it'll be concealed carry, range etiquette, reciprocity among states with your concealed carry permit, which is very easy to get here in Alabama. It's very easy to get in Mississippi, and it's easy to get in Florida as well, as long as you take a training class, which I kind of like that. That's really neat. Not only you are have a license to conceal carry, but you'll be more proficient doing so with your firearm.
Adam, that's not required in Alabama or Mississippi.
No, it's not required in Alabama or Mississippi, but one thing that Mississippi has, in addition to their regular concealed carry, they had expanded carry. So you can go and take a certified class there where you can get an expanded carry permit where you can carry in any building in the state of Mississippi, bar it federal buildings. So the regular concealed carry permit in Mississippi, you can't carry. I think in you can't carry in courthouses or police stations or whatever, or even local municipality buildings. I'm not sure on the exact details, but if you have an expanded carry, then that negates all that. You can carry anywhere except prohibited within federal buildings, as is marked.
Yeah.
Which has sparked a lot of people to go and take classes. It's kind of a one-up kind of thing.
Well, even if it's not required, it's a good idea.
Oh, absolutely.
To know what the law is, know when it's on your side, know when to speak up and when not to, and also how to take care of your weapon and how to use it.
Exactly. So, I mean, if you want to be more proficient with your firearm, which everyone should, because it's just like anything else. Technology changes, methodology changes. There's always a better way. Somebody's got a better gimmick. Somebody's got a better tactic or technique, and that's how the firearm industry evolves. Not only does firearm evolves, but the techniques to go along with those firearms. How you grip a firearm is the way it's taught is completely different than the way it was taught in World War II. Yeah. You look at some World War II footage, and where they're showing the GIs how to shoot the .45, and you watch that video or those videos. I've seen several, and it's laughable. It's laughable the techniques that was used to teach the GIs. Not discounting the training that they got, but that was the best of the day.
Yeah.
Of course, now we know, through engineering, biomechanics, how to better hold the firearm to mitigate recoil, to be more accurate, to be faster between shots. And those firearms have to be designed that way to be able to be held, to maximize the shooter's grip on the firearm, not only on the frame of the firearm, but also on the grip of the firearm, but also on the frame, to be able to hold it with two hands and hold it effectively, and then be able to utilize that firearm as fast as possible within a defensive situation. It's one thing to be proficient with a firearm. It's another thing to be proficient with that firearm in a defensive situation, to be able to draw that firearm from a concealed carry, which is usually inside of pants or under inside of pants under a shirt or a cover garment or a jacket, whether it be a sport coat or a light winter jacket. Of course, this still kind of brisk this time of year. So there's lots of things to consider, but be able to draw that firearm fast and be effective with it is a different level. So to get to that different level, that higher level of proficiency, then training is required. You don't wake up one day and decide, hey, this is what I'm going to do and this is how I'm going to do it. It's not what you know, it's what you don't know that gets you. And from my first firearms class, however many years ago that was, and I thought I was fairly proficient, but it's always what you don't know. And I've taken a whole firearms class and only picked up one thing, but that one thing that I picked up out of that class made a big difference. And of course, it's just fun. And of course, I took that first class, and I think now I've got 13 different certifications. So it's kind of addicting as well, and it's a lot of fun.
Well, you're an NRA certified firearms instructor and also law enforcement instructor. Is that right?
Yes.
I wanted to ask you a question that's in the news today, and I think it went into effect today. And this is about the bump stock ban, or that is it a federal law that's going into effect that is saying that it's illegal you won't be able to purchase them, and if you have them, you need to get rid of them in some way. Is that in general what we're talking about?
You're talking about on the bump stock?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's still, I think there's still some ongoing hearings on that, but I think right now, as it is right now, the bump stock ban took effect today.
I think so.
Now, how long it's going to be in effect, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what the rulings are, that it's ruled as in everybody. I think the ones that filed the first suits, I think it applied to them. They don't have to worry about destroying or turning in their bump stock. I think it's 2 individuals, but it doesn't apply to the rest of the citizens of the United States, which is ludicrous. So I don't know how long that's going to stand.
Well, I want to ask you when we come back from the break how that works, because what I've heard, it allows a semi-automatic to perform kind of like an automatic.
Like a full automatic.
Yeah.
All right, we'll discuss that and more when we come back after this break. James from Robertsdale will catch you on the flip side of the break here.
Step up to the firing line. Armed Alabama is back. Questions, comments, and texts at 343-0106.
I don't know what you want. If you are looking for ransom, I can tell you I don't have money. But what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you. If you let my daughter go now, that'll be the end of it. I will not look for you. I will not pursue you. But if you don't, I will look for you. I will find you. And I will kill you.
All right, welcome back to Armed Alabama. Give us a call here at the studio, 251-343-0106. And you can call or text your question or comment or whatever you may have here on Armed Alabama to that number, 251-343-0106. Again, we are simulcasting live here on our Facebook page, Armed Alabama Radio, FM Talk 106.5. Of course, we are broadcasting on FM Talk 106.5 studios here in Mobile. And so glad you could join us. And we have a caller. James is calling from Robertsdale. Hi, James. Welcome to Armed Alabama.
Thank you. I've been listening for some time, and I think you had the most wonderful direct idea a while ago about your name. I think you should never drop Alabama from it, but make it something along the lines of like Armed Alabama's America, plural, and then leave the word America for the home station and let it be Armed Alabama, Florida, Georgia, whatever. I think that'd be a real good thing because you're growing and you're spreading the word and doing it right.
Yeah, we're just amazed how many people tuning in from Mississippi and Florida. We had no idea actually when we started this show, which is why it's called Armed Alabama. So we thought we would just be broadcasting and talking to local people here within South Alabama. And then, we started doing Facebook Live, and people started popping up from different areas. Of course, phone calls. We started getting phone calls from Mississippi, from a lot of phone calls from Pensacola area. So, yeah, we're very flattered by that.
Yes, and I think that takes the individual state and makes us one yet once again, and that's long overdue.
Yes, sir.
All right, and I thank you for your time. Have a good night, and be safe.
All right, thank you, James. Appreciate your phone call, sir.
Great to hear from you. 343-0106, the number to call, or you can text that. And we were talking about the bump stock before we left, and I was asking you basically, how does it actually work to make a semi-automatic perform like a machine gun, I guess?
And that's kind of what it does, but it's really difficult to be accurate with it. I mean, I feel like that I'm a very proficient individual when it comes to shooting a pistol, shotgun, or rifle, and I've used it before, and to me, I mean, it's a lot of fun. It really is,
you brace it
but it's
against
just not. It's just not accurate.
You brace it, the butt of your rifle against your shoulder?
Yeah, you brace it, and then the recoil of the rifle actually causes it to bump back and forth.
So it bounces back
Yeah,
up.
and it causes your finger, if you hold your finger real tight and hold it tight against your shoulder, the firearm against your shoulder, then it causes the rifle itself to cycle back and forth, which has caused your finger to quickly pull the trigger.
Without actually having to pull it individually.
That's exactly right. And because of that, though, the rifle moves and sways around, and so it's extremely difficult to be accurate with it. You know, it's definitely is a lot of fun to shoot and play around with it, plinking or whatever. But it's kind of gimmicky. You know, it's not something that you would use in a self-defense situation or a self-defense firearm for your home to have that type of bump stock on it. I mean, it's just a gimmick. It's a play toy, you know, and that for whatever reason. I can't remember the actual shooter from Las Vegas. I have to look it up. I think he may have had a rifle or two within his within his hotel room.
Yeah,
but it was never really stated or proven that he used that rifle or a rifle with the bump stock to actually shoot down upon the crowd.
There's a lot about
so
that.
why are we banning the bump stock when we don't even know if one of those rifles with that stock mounted was even used within that shooting? So I think it was just an easy thing to throw out there on the part of the Trump administration to say, okay, well, we're going to do something.
Yeah.
And so this is one of the things that got caught on that was thrown out on the chopping block, you know. But then again, it was like, well, did he know it was going to get, you know, kicked back or be filed lawsuits against or whatever? Of course he knew. He knew that. I mean, I'm sure he was advised of that. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out within the courts.
Yeah, and be interesting to see what percentage of people would actually turn them in.
Yeah, turn them in or destroy them.
Yeah.
However, bury them in a bucket in the backyard.
Is that
I don't
a
know.
fairly big investment to buy one of those things?
I think it's $100, $150.
Okay, so we're not talking about a ton of money.
No, it's not a ton of money.
Yeah.
No. And, I mean, there's not a lot of firearms out there that available that you can buy these things for. You know, AR-15s, different firearms like that. I think Ruger Mini-14s and some other ones. There's not a lot of them out there.
Since Judge Johnston is not with us tonight, you and me, I wanted to go back to something you brought up at the very beginning of the show, talking about knowledge and training in home defense and self-defense. And both of you have said many times on this program that, if you go to the pistol range and you're target practicing like you're going out for competition shooting or something, that's not going to relate all that well to being in a real close encounter with somebody who's trying to perform bodily harm on you.
Yes and no. I mean, to stand at a target, 50 feet away and, slow fire the pistol.
And brace yourself.
Yeah, slow fire the pistol at that target. No, that's not necessarily that training is not necessarily indicative of what you would face in a concealed carry or a self-defense situation outside or inside your home.
So in your home, a potential target probably would be anywhere from 5 to 15 feet.
Yes. Yeah.
So if you're going to a range, maybe that's where your target ought to be.
Yeah, I mean, if that's what you like, I mean, some people like to shoot a great distance. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I have different firearms for different purposes.
Sure.
I have firearms that are more accurate than others, especially from a handgun standpoint.
So and sometimes it's just shooting for the fun of it.
Oh, absolutely, and
there's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's not, and there's a lot to be said for a group of friends or family to go to a range, whether it be indoor or outdoor range, and have a good time and be safe and enjoy the event, enjoy the camaraderie and the fellowship that takes place at a range. It's a lot of fun.
You and Rusty still haven't firmed up plans for another class?
No, we're slacking.
Well, I didn't. Maybe I shouldn't have brought that up, but I know there's some interest.
We talk about it all the time, and people
out there.
People email us, people email us and messages about it. So let me apologize. We will put something together soon.
Well, and what I like about
because we enjoy it so much. I mean,
and you spend half of the day talking about the law, and then the other half on use of your gun. Yeah,
pretty much that. It's not just the law itself, but we talk about tactics, techniques, because the class is a self-defense class. Yeah, we teach individuals how to shoot their firearm, how to maintain it, how to clean it, but also how to use it to be able to defend themselves.
Yeah,
and that's pretty much what it embodies. And the main thing there is trying to get the student to wrap their mind around putting themselves in a situation or have to be in a situation where they have to use their firearm to defend themselves. And that's half the battle right there is to put yourself in that situation. Okay, if I was to have to, could I draw my firearm or could I raise my firearm and shoot someone else in defense of myself or defense of my family member? And so you want to make that decision ahead of time.
Yeah, you're not going to have time to think about it.
Well, it's a reaction, and you have to think, but you can't sit and contemplate that at the time of need or necessity. All right, we'll be back with more Armed Alabama. Andy, hang on line. We'll get to you when we come back after this break.
And maybe some news about next week's show, too.
Step up to the firing line. Armed Alabama is back. Questions, comments, and texts at 343-0106.
You see, in this world, there's two kinds of people, my friend. Those with loaded guns and those who dig. You dig. When?
Well, I don't suppose any of us here are diggers.
I hope not.
Welcome back to Armed Alabama. We have to go to the phone lines now. We got 3 callers stacked up here, so let's go ahead and start with Andy. Hi, Andy. Welcome to Armed Alabama. What you got?
Good evening. I'm Andy Bobby. I was the troop 177 out of Spanish Fort, and we had Adam come to one of our campouts a couple of weeks ago. And help us with firearm training. And, we were calling in tonight to tell him thank you. And, we had all the guys here that just wanted to take a chance and say thanks on the air if they had. We can get them to speak. They're all acting nervous now.
It's no sense to be nervous. Thank you for calling, Andy. I had a good time. What Andy's talking about is I had a chance to go a few weeks ago. It's really probably been a month or so ago now to help out with a local Boy Scout group who were certifying to get their shooting medal. Is that correct, Andy?
That's right.
And
qualified with both shotgun and .22.
That's right.
So what did they have to do to get their qualification or badge?
With the .22, they had to take shots at a target the size of a quarter. They had to do 5 rounds with 5 shots. I want to say 3 of the 5 shots had to be within the quarter. And then with the shotgun, we had 14 out of 25, and we would run it full on. They could take 50 shots because they had to do that twice, so a total of 28 out of 50. And, we had all the scouts that were there qualify. Some of them was the first time they'd ever held a gun, and Adam was very helpful in making that happen.
That really must have been exciting, Adam.
It was.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
Oh, it was. I think the scouts really had a good time, and it made it worthwhile. And I appreciate the hospitality. I was fed very well. Thank you, Andy, for that. And thank the group there. So yeah, if anybody wants to talk about their day qualifying real quick, please put them on.
Anybody want to talk about the qualifying for the day? No. Ricky, the one that ate the pickled piglet, said he's still probably not going to do that again.
Pickled piglet.
There was a whole jar there for sure.
Yeah.
But my favorite was the cobbler.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was the camp cobbler and the cast iron Dutch oven. Oh Dutch man, oven. That was amazing.
That's right.
That was worth the whole day and the drive there for sure, just by itself. Not to mention getting a chance to shoot with the Boy Scouts and of course the Scout Masters and the boys' fathers. Once they qualified, everybody had kind of brought their little play pretties, and we really had a good time that afternoon, taking turns shooting different firearms. So it was really, really, really a nice event.
What's your troop number?
Troop 177 out of Spanish Fort.
Yeah, okay. In case there might be some other dads or moms that
absolutely
want to get their boys involved in scouting.
Absolutely.
Great experience.
If you have a son that is interested in scouts or whatever, I couldn't say enough about it. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, if we can get them out, we'll teach them how to rake up shell casings.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Andy, for calling in. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you and your other gentleman there within that Boy Scout troop. I appreciate all your hard work and what you're teaching those young men.
Okay, well, let's
all right, let's move on to Mike from Grand Bay. Hi, Mike. Welcome to Armed Alabama.
Well, how you doing? I'm still going through my vocal trouble. A doctor's trying to get me figured out.
Well,
I was in the hospital yesterday getting a CT scan on my carotid arteries, and they said it wasn't blocked.
Well, you sound a little stronger than you did last time you called us.
The doctor thinks my medicine, lisinopril, I've been taking it for 15 years, and he said he believes that might be affecting my vocal cords like it does other people. I don't know. But in 2 weeks, if I'm not better, he said he's going to set me up with an eye, ear, and nose doctor or whatever, throat doctor, whatever you call it.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, here's what I called in about. As far as that bump stock, I mean, high as ammo prices are out here, I don't think I want a gun that shoots that fast. Dang, ammo costs too much to me to be firing that rapidly. And but the thing about it is, if I don't see why they should stop people from buying the bump stock. Maybe they should switch, and if somebody still wants the bump stock bad enough to buy a tax, like that $200 tax per year, maybe they need to go that route and just register them when they do it or whatever. But here's something I wanted to mention. You still there?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Okay.
Quickly, we got another phone call.
Back in the 80s, my cousin and his friends used to play war games, and they'd fire their they had little 22s shaped like the M16 A1 rifle or whatever. But anyway, it was 22 rifles, and he had a device. It wasn't a bump stock, but it was a device that you attached to the trigger guard, and you spin it real fast with your fingers, kind of like running an old-time pencil sharpener. And, man, it'd make that rifle fire like a machine gun.
Yeah, it had a little cam on it to where the cam lobe actually what struck the trigger and made it fire really, really fast. So I've seen those. There's some out there with even cranks and stuff like that where you just turn it and the cam lobe strikes the trigger guard. Thank you for calling in, Mike. We got to get to some other calls here. Thank you so much.
Enjoy your show, man.
Appreciate it. All right, we got Glenn from Mississippi. Hey, Glenn, glad you could join us, buddy.
Hey, how you doing, Adam?
All right, my friend.
How you doing?
I figured you were cranked up to provide us some AOC, some good AOC information. I've seen that she came out with a 4-point plan for gun control. And, of course, that was inspired by the shooting in New Zealand.
Correct. And that's I really want to focus on AOC, but because she is worthless. But what I do want to look at is New Zealand. That's a great segue into that conversation. Is now post-massacre here of those 2 mosques, 50 people died in that massacre. Now you see what's happening to the New Zealand government, where they're going to ban all MSSAs, that's military-style semi-automatics and assault rifles. Now, the question I have for you guys is, what is defined as a military-style semi-automatic? I mean, technically speaking, and again, just for your audience, I'm a novice when it comes to guns, but couldn't that MSSA be considered about any kind of semi-automatic is considered military style?
Well, if I guess if you wanted to stretch the scope, which we know they do, if you look at Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, I made sure I put the Ocaso in there. If you heard, she gets really pissed off when you don't say Ocaso. Who cares?
She's one of those hyphenated ladies.
Yeah, hyphenated.
Oh, absolutely.
So anyway, to get to her 4-point plan here, number 4 is firearms that are designed to kill, quote unquote. That's what she states, and that's, of course, to ban bump stocks, ban semi-autos, but it doesn't say
exactly.
It doesn't say whether it's military style rifle or assault weapon or whatever. Of course, we know that you can't buy an assault weapon over the counter. I guess you could say an AR-15 is a military style, but it's definitely not an assault weapon. The components are not the same. The barrel and the manufacturer, what it's manufactured out of, is not the same. The stocks is not the same. It can't hold up to that kind of punishment. It's not a select fire firearm.
Right.
But so when you say semi-auto, I mean that could be just a Remington 1100, a staple of trap shooters and hunters everywhere. So it's very open.
Hey, Glenn, can I interject a quick question? As you all both know, Facebook carried this massacre live for 17 minutes before finally somebody shut off the feed. And I wonder, being a conspiracy kind of guy, if maybe that wasn't intentional so that the New Zealand government would act quickly to enact this ban.
I don't know, because that's a good question, Charlie. I couldn't tell you how many times that we've been simulcasting on this radio show that Facebook has severed or cut our ban.
We had one cut off about a week ago because of the bump music we were playing.
Yep. Takes half a second for that, but 17 minutes.
And you mean to tell me that Facebook Live, they don't have some kind of a referees or someone there monitoring what's going through their live feed? I mean, what's to stop someone from doing just an example, a pornographic movie on Facebook Live? You have to have something there in place, right, to monitor what people are putting on their live. And as to what the judge said, 17 minutes, that's quite a long time before you cut that feed off.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I mean, so you can't have personnel or employees to watch every video, but you can have algorithms, and that's what they use to. If you're using a song that may be copyright protected, I mean, it doesn't take just a couple seconds for that algorithm to pick it up and sever the feed.
We got to go to break.
Step up to the firing line. Armed Alabama is back. Questions, comments, and texts at 343-0106.
What we've got here is failure to communicate. Some men you just can't reach. So you get what we had here last week, which is the way he wants it. Well, he gets it. And I don't like it any more than you, man.
All right, welcome back to Armed Alabama. We're coming into the last segment of the show. It's the fastest hour of the day for sure. Definitely want to thank you for tuning in and joining us tonight. I said last week that Buck Allen was going to join us tonight, but due to a miscommunication on my part, he will be here next week. So we will have Buck Allen in the studio next week. Looking forward to that. Can't wait.
He's the fellow that sings the opening theme song for the show.
Absolutely. He's got several different songs, and we use two of them here on Armed Alabama, and that is Don't Tread on Me and My America, and we kind of alternate between the two, but he's got another one called I Love My President, and he's got a new song that he's going to debut here on the radio station with us next week. So I'll wait and let him tell you what that is and more information.
In all the years that I've been here, I don't recall when I was on the board any live musician actually playing and singing on this station. So we'll be breaking new ground.
Well, that's awesome then. So thank you for listening. Make sure you tune in next week. We also want to thank all of our sponsors here. So on Armed Alabama, and that's Ace Hardware Stores, Spring Hill, Crayola, and Moffett locations, the law office of Steve Moore, Hanson Heating and Air, Mike Ward's Liberty Safe, and of course McCoy Outdoors. So if you're looking for that perfect gift for that someone who likes firearms or outdoor equipment or even like running shoes, then McCoy Outdoors is definitely the place to go because they've got it and they can put you in exactly what you need. The people they have there are very knowledgeable, very helpful, and they are not going to steer you wrong, whether it be a firearm, tennis shoes, outdoor clothing, garments, or just gear.
Or if you're into archery, they have some truly evil-looking bows.
Yes, they do, and they have somebody there to set you up in it. They also have...
and answer your questions.
They also have a gunsmith on staff. So when you go into McCoy Outdoors, tell them, hey, from Armed Alabama, and that you was there because you heard about them here on our show.
Won't hurt, might help.
Okay, Glenn, thank you for hanging with us through the break here. So, of course, we were talking about your favorite person, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Don't leave that middle name out.
But we want to also talk about the Teflon Don, man. What a week he has had so far, and that's President Donald Trump.
That's right, man. I mean, talk about a huge victory for Donald Trump.
Yes.
I mean, and he plays cards so correctly. I mean, I think the left, they were really wanting and really waiting for him to go ahead and fire Commissar Mueller prior to the end of the report or the filing of the report. But, Donald Trump, he bided his time. He listened to the right people. He said, you know what, we're going to let this carry on for 675 days. And let's see where this goes. Because
and $30 million.
And yeah, exactly. What, $30 million they spent of our money? Can we get that money back, please? Get that money back for us? But so look now, 625 days, just less than 2 years of what? A nothing burger. Nothing to show for it. Nothing. Aside from the fact that, President Trump is not guilty of any crime, but he's still not exonerated. How can that be, Judge? How can that be? How can you be not guilty of a crime but still not be exonerated?
That's a good point.
What it's saying there wasn't enough factual information.
No, that's all
to
they
prove
state.
Anything one way or the other.
Anybody else, though, what Glenn is saying is anybody else would have been the news media would say, "Oh, they were exonerated."
I tell you what, we've got a lot of video clips to make political ads out of in 2020.
Absolutely.
I love it when not only the office holders but presidential contenders and talking heads on a couple of the networks. I don't have to give the letters. Everybody knows who they are.
Oh, yeah.
But when they say, I know there's a predominance of evidence that he's guilty of a crime, and why one reporter doesn't say, well, what evidence? What proof? Tell us one instance that you have evidence of a wrongdoing.
Well, there's nothing there. Nothing has stuck to him so far since 2015. Nothing has stuck, and which is why we call him the Teflon Don.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, we're getting ready to turn the corner. We're going to go into the FISA courts and how all of that happened based on that dossier, which was fabrication.
It was a fabrication, and all
paid
this
for
really
by Hillary Clinton and the DMC.
No, is paid for, but I think a lot of this was a big sham and cover for Hillary Clinton.
Yes. Oh yeah. Oh, big time. Yeah, it's called projection, where she was basically projecting what she did onto Donald Trump, and so that the noose wouldn't go around her neck. That's what this was all about.
Glenn, how would she have handled the dictator in North Korea when he was firing missiles? You think she would have got on television and said, I've got a bigger button than he does and mine works?
No, I think she'd probably give him more uranium, probably.
Probably. What didn't go to the Russians?
Yeah, exactly. Uranium won.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say about that. And so Donald Trump now, let's see where he goes from here. Hopefully he's going to unleash the mother of all storms and really turn the tide. Now, if anyone in your audience, if you haven't listened to it, and I think you and I were talking about today, Adam, last night on Sean Hannity, his opening monologue, Lord have mercy. I mean, I have never heard Sean Hannity go into it like that.
Did you hear Levin?
No, I did not hear Levin.
Yeah, boy, he really tore into it too. More agitated than I've ever seen him.
And speaking of exoneration, I'm not sure if this is a good example. Look at our boy Jussie Smollett. How convenient is that, huh?
Yeah, that's not even exoneration. That's let's just drop everything, make it go away.
Yeah.
Do you think
abracadabra, poof, it goes away.
Do you think Cook County, Illinois, will ever be right? I don't.
No, probably not. No way.
Going all the way back to the Democratic Convention in the 60s and the Daily Machine.
Well, certainly for sure, in terms of President Trump, he has a lot of ammo now for the upcoming 2020 election. I'm not really sure what the Democrats can do to really oppose him.
Glenn, we have less than a minute.
Yeah. So what can they really do? Because all they have is socialist talking points, and you have a Mueller report that's no good. So now what do you do? And my fear is that someone may pull, from the conspiracy theorist side of me here, is that someone may pull a false flag event, and you might have a left-wing nut job try to be a hero, and you know what I'm trying to say with this here. Kind of like what happened in Las Vegas in a mass shooting, where now the Democrats can focus away from the Mueller report and focus now on, but you know what, we need the same kind of gun confiscation that New Zealand is doing right now.
On that note, Glenn, we got to stop.
All right.
Thank you, buddy, for calling in. Glenn Ramos. Follow him on Facebook. He's got lots of good commentary. Thank you again for joining us. Check us next week on Armed Alabama. We're having the studio with us singer-songwriter Buck Allen. Check him out and follow him on Facebook. Thank you so much for joining us.